So I don't know if one of you guys want to ask Whiskey that, just so it's a bit more.
I think it's fine. It's fine that you asked it. To be honest, it's more natural.
You're fine, John. Just take over the whole thing. You're totally good. Do what you need to do.
What's up, guys? You are tuned in to Set It Off, a musical podcast for musical lovers, brought to you by Musical Lovers, where we interview musical lovers, people that love music. My name is John.
My name is Joe.
My name is Katrina.
So, this afternoon, super excited to have one of my best friends all the way over from the United States, but through the joys of technology, my good friend Chayton Whiskey. How you doing, man?
Up? I'm doing well, man.
I was just puzzling this out. I've known you for 9 long years now.
I know, that's crazy to think about. Just
it's nuts.
Two random kids.
Yeah.
Meeting in Utah, man.
In Salt Lake City, just at the back of a meeting. Like, this kid seems cool. I like this guy. Yeah. And then the very next year, road tripping across the states.
Yeah, man, that was a lot of fun. We got to do that again. Next time you're out here, come stay with me, and we'll go on some trips.
I'm down.
Go see some national parks.
Oh, I'm so excited. Yes. I mean, I think the main reason that we wanted to have this chat with you is because Holyname, your band, right? Like, you've just gone from being this dude that knows Tommy Green, and spent a few years with Tommy now, and then suddenly playing bass in a band that's just booked for Furnace Fest in front of like 10,000 people. What does that feel like?
It's so surreal, man. Like I'm just playing live bass and stuff, but it was all like right place at the right time type of a thing. Tommy and I have been friends for years. Joe and I are friends, and if anything, I'm just super honored that they would ask me to like play bass for them and stuff like that. And like, being in the band is really cool, but I'm also just such a fan of the band. I think that Joe wrote a phenomenal album. His writing style is super cool. Joe and Tommy are like the brains behind the band, and so I feel like I get to kind of ride their coattails a little bit and do this. And I've gone to Furnace Fest the last 2 years, so like going this year was like so crazy. I have some friends that we have a group chat where they were like, "Oh, are you guys going to Furnace Fest this year?" And I was like, before Holyname got announced, and I knew I was going to be going, I was like, yeah, I think I'll go this year. And then they got announced, and they're like, dude, why didn't you tell us? And I was like, well, I don't know what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say. I'm just trying not to mess this up, Yeah. So, but no, it's super surreal. There's some nerves involved with it, but I'm excited, and I think that God's been really gracious to me, and letting me be involved in this, and just walking by and seeing all the different things that Tommy and Joe have been doing, and kind of getting to see this from its inception and to where it is now. Like, it's surreal. It's awesome, man. Like, I love it. Like, it's a childhood dream come true for me. So
yeah, man, dude, it's exciting, and it's just like hearing that first kind of Holyname track, and it just like I vibe with this. I like this. It's kind of what was needed, and then suddenly like Joe just produces all this stuff, and suddenly it's like, and a whole album drops, and you drop under like Facedown, and it goes crazy, and it's just like, it just blew up out of nowhere.
Yeah, that wasn't even like the real intention. So it started off as like a Rev mixtape where we were all kind of coming together and writing acoustic songs, and we were gonna go and record and stuff like that. And then COVID happened, and so we all kind of like locked down, and Tommy had a song and was like, hey Joe, do you think you can make this heavy? And Joe is just phenomenal. He's an amazing guitarist, amazing writer, amazing person just in general. and he wrote everything, did the drums and all that stuff, and then it just kind of progressed into something a little bit bigger, and then Facedown picked us up, and Tommy was like, hey, do you want to play bass if we ever do live shows? I don't think we're going to do live shows. And I was like, yeah, sure, like I'm down to do that. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're playing live shows, like you got to play live shows with us.
We have it in
So,
writing
like,
here. You agreed. Look, on this date
Yeah.
here, like you can't back out now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's cool for me, just getting to play with all the people I've gotten to play with, and our live stream went really well. And that was cool because I got to work with Lazarus Rios from Leaders.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard that band, but he's an old friend of mine. I've known him for over 10 years, and like it was just surreal for me, being the kid that used to go to Leaders shows all the time because they were a hometown thing, to like all of a sudden like Laz is our production guy and he's like helping me out with his band and stuff like that, and he's like, yeah, you're supposed to be here, dude. And I'm like, I'm still in the mindset that I'm like just stoked to hang out with these band guys, you know.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So it was surreal. It was a lot of fun, and just seeing the creativity and all the inspiration behind it's been really awesome.
Did you become part of the music industry? Like, what inspired you to become a musician?
Oh man, that's a good question. So growing up, I was really into music. The first CD I ever bought with my own money was the Shrek soundtrack. Yeah. Yeah. I was still am a huge Smash Mouth fan. Like that is the hill I will die on. I think Smash Mouth is a very talented band. Yeah,
I
John,
think
you're
you
good.
broke John.
Coming in, that's not coming in,
Exactly.
coming in, sorry.
And
That is, I was not expecting that answer. That is absolutely fantastic.
yeah.
And it makes way more sense than
Yeah.
could ever possibly be fathomed in this moment. So
Exactly. And so from that, I discovered Linkin Park and got really into Linkin Park and like new metal, and then discovered Under Oath. And Under Oath, like just completely, like Linkin Park and Under Oath together, like really changed my life, because I went from like, oh, you could just like listen to some music that has some screaming in it, and then like Under Oath is all like primarily screaming. And I remember just being a kid, being like my sister being in like a Christian bookstore showing me Under Oath, and I was like, wait, you can just yell in music? Like that's a thing you can do? You're allowed to do that? And so like just watching Under Oath and listening to their music made me really want to do the same thing. So like in junior high, I tried starting bands with friends, and that never panned out. And then I played in a guitar ensemble in high school and played in some like garage bands and stuff like that. And it nothing ever really came to fruition. So I just figured I was like gonna keep going to shows my whole life and somehow try and get into the music industry and stuff like that. And so it's all just kind of like fell in my lap how it's happened. It's been a lifelong dream of mine. But it's been so surreal just to be able to be a part of this and do that. So I got influenced from a very early age. And then on my mom's side of the family, my great uncle was a concert organist, and he was like the head of his he was leading his church's like worship. He was the music director at the age of 13. So he was this total musical prodigy. So on my mom's side of the family, it was like, what instrument are you going to play alongside piano? So I took piano lessons as a kid and never really like stuck with it or anything like that, and took more lessons in college just because I wanted to try to read sheet music, and decided sheet music wasn't for me. And yeah, so it's all just, music's kind of been a part of my life. I've always really enjoyed music. My dad showed me a bunch of classic rock bands as a kid growing up, so I used to steal his CDs and record them on cassette tapes so I could have my own copy of them. And I'd get in trouble for that, because I wasn't allowed to take my dad's music, but I would do it anyways. So music's just been something that's really been a huge influence for me, and it's helped me get through like trials and tribulations and just kind of express myself. And I love doing stuff like that. So that's kind of how I got into it.
amazing.
I know you had mentioned it maybe a little briefly a little bit earlier, but what has your experience been like to be part of Holyname?
It's been really cool. Everyone's been super welcoming and encouraging. like our first practice we had, I was super nervous. Joe was giving me bass lessons over FaceTime video, teaching me how to play all the music. Anytime I had an issue, I could always just hit up Joe, and Joe was the man and teaching me stuff. And then once we started practicing, everything just kind of started coming together, and I was like, oh, we actually sound pretty good. And my good friend Aaron Craner, who wrote Fall on Your Knees, came by and got to listen to us and watch us practice for a little bit. And we're kind of all spread out around the country, so it makes practicing kind of hard, because Joe's in Minnesota, Rookie's in like Texas/Oklahoma, and then Tommy and I are here in Utah. So it's been a really cool experience, and everyone's been really welcoming. And I'm just trying to pick up as much as I can from each person and learn what I can do. Like Joe's constantly trying to teach me those Gojira like pick scrapes that he does, because for the life of me, when I play guitar, I can't get those down. And just giving me advice and stuff like that. It's been really cool. I'm super blessed.
I feel like we bonded, Whiskey, on our mutual love for the Shrek soundtrack.
Oh, I've got it on vinyl, dude.
Of course he does.
That's it. Next time we're in America, John, we're staying around Whiskey's, and we're just
Oh,
gonna
dude,
listen
I
to
got a place for you guys to stay, and we'll listen to the Shrek soundtrack on vinyl. It's like
through the
Shrek
night.
green, and it's got his face on
Oh,
the middle.
100%.
I'm a huge vinyl guy, and I'll get those vinyls that like it'll go from like Pantera to like Behemoth to Ghost Bath, and then Shrek soundtrack, and everyone's like, why do you have the Shrek soundtrack? Because it's a great album. Like, and I will die on that hill. It's so good.
Did you ever watch The Mechanic with Jason Statham, where he has like this incredible like turntable, and I googled it, and it's about $2,000 worth of like equipment, and it in this film he's quite precise. He like wipes each vinyl and places it on. I'm like, I feel we need to put the Shrek soundtrack on that particular turntable. Just
it deserves it.
Give it
deserves
the best it possibly could.
Oh, you have honestly, John, you have no idea. You have no idea.
Yeah, your homework, John, is to go home and listen to that album. Give me a full detailed report on how good it is.
Yep.
So yeah, I bought that album because I didn't know you could buy like a Smash Mouth album, and I just wanted the Smash Mouth. Like, I don't know why I just didn't go get like Fushu Mang like right off the bat, and like Astro Lounge, and like pick those up. But no, went straight for the soundtrack because I was like, this is good. This has music I like.
See, I got it like the weirdest thing. I got it from like we had like a babysitter at the time, because obviously it was little, and they'd always put Shrek on, and like their copy of Shrek had the soundtrack album on it. And I was like,
awesome.
Because I was kind of like tech savvy, I was like, yoink, computer, rip. And I just had like, I went through about 7 different copies of a copy of this CD.
Yeah.
Because I would just listen to it constantly. It's a great album.
Yeah, it's good. I still listen to it. So my wife will come home and she's just like, really? You're again home the other day, and I was watching The Princess Diaries.
What a film, man.
It's so good. I'm like the most non-metal kid ever. Like I use my Disney Plus so much just to watch Disney movies.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Disney is amazing. I'm like that too. I can sit here and watch Little Mermaid all day.
Oh, there you go. Little Mermaid. I haven't watched that in forever. I might do that tonight. I might watch Little Mermaid tonight now.
Do you know, I'm this old. I saw Little Mermaid at the cinema.
Wow.
Yeah. When it first came out.
I remember seeing Hunchback of Notre Dame in theaters.
Yeah.
Or at the cinema. There you go.
Sorry, the Britishism.
I'll speak your language just for you, John.
Wow, do you know what? It's funny you say that. We might as well segue while we've got this perfect segue.
Exactly, it's a perfect segue. For our international counterparts, we started this game, which is we're going to give you some slang words.
Oh man.
We want you to let us know what you think these slang words mean.
Okay.
But you know, you've hung around me and John a fair amount. So
Yeah.
you picked up a fair amount of London slang. So we were like, we're gonna have
Oh,
to go a
yeah.
bit further afield to try and stump you. So we've gone for the proper West Country slang.
Oh man, I'm excited for this.
So first one's quite easy. See if you get this. Proper job.
Like good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was too easy. That was too easy.
Okay.
That was way
Okay.
too easy. Arca-E.
Oh my gosh, what? Is that like I can eat like I can eat some food right now?
No. No.
I feel like this
Oh.
is Jeff Foxworthy's "You Might Be a Redneck." Like,
I think Whiskey's hanging on for dear life here. He needs to know the answer.
Oh, I want to know what. So Arca-E. Look at him.
I would not have guessed that. Would
So
not have guessed that.
So do you know that "Hark the Herald Angels Sing"?
Yeah.
So it's "Hark it he."
Hark.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense now. All
Yeah.
right.
Do you know what? We'll throw one more in. Yeah.
Coco.
Just because I don't think you're actually going to get this at all. Teddies.
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 Well, I know what a teddy out here is, like a nightgown, right? Like a
No,
Well,
no.
that's what I would think it, or like a teddy bear or something like that.
Give it,
it's-
use it in a sentence for him.
Oh yeah, if you
All
use
right,
it
all
in a
right.
sentence, I might
Yeah,
be able to pick
yeah.
it up.
Do you want roast teddies with your Sunday lunch, me lover?
Oh my gosh, potatoes.
There you go.
Yeah, got it in the end.
There we go. Okay.
So yeah, the West Country called cool potatoes teddies.
Oh, you learn something new every day.
Right? Every day's a school day.
School day.
So your career didn't obviously is only just starting to pick up with music, but you're rather into comedy, aren't you?
Yeah. So I still do improv comedy with a company called Comedy Sports. It was something I started off doing in high school, and then found out that there was a company that did like high school league teams. And so if you've ever seen Whose Line Is It Anyways, that's kind of like the improv that I do. So it's all short form for the most part, and I've done long form. So I've gotten to go all over the country doing improv, playing at different Comedy Sports. And I've actually gotten to play with Comedy Sports Manchester. Shout out to those guys. They're some of my favorite people in the world. And it's been really cool to just do that. It was something, again, I just kind of fell into and found out I was decent at it and just kept working at it. And I was extremely blessed when I finished high school league. I didn't know what was next. I was like, well, I guess I'm done with improv. And one of my dear friends now, who was my high school league teacher named Michael Wilcoxon, came up to my friend and I and was like, hey, you should come take our adult league classes. And so we ended up taking the adult league classes, where you learn in level 1, you learn like basic improv, and then level 2, you learn long form improv, and then level 3 is the Comedy Sports format. So we did those, and then they had a rec league, and we were in the rec league for a while, and they pulled us up to main stage. And I've done, oh my gosh, I've done hundreds of shows with Comedy Sports. I've been doing improv for 10 plus years now.
Wow.
And it's been a lot of fun. So that's something I'm pretty connected in, is the improv scene and stuff like that. And I've gotten to meet really cool people from all over the world. One of my friends runs the Dublin Improv Festival, and he's an awesome guy. We were trying to get me out there for one of those. I've gotten open invitation for the Edinburgh Fringe Festival to come
Wow.
perform with Comedy Sports out there, because they always do stuff.
Dude, that's a big deal. You need to jump on that.
Yeah. I gotta get the finances in and get time off work to be able to come out there. And
You got a place to stay, bro.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah. My wife and I were just talking with some friends, and they all want to come out to England, so we might get a small group of us to come out one of these days.
Yeah. Those of you who are watching this on YouTube, you're going to get a little tiny bit extra, because I am going to show them a clip of Whiskey inventing a joke.
Oh my gosh, I forgot all about that.
2 hours later.
Here we go.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chayton Whiskey, and I'm going to be showing you an impression I've been working on. This is a man who has never sneezed before, sneezing for the first time in his life. It's one of the few impressions I do.
It's just so perfect, yet so dumb. But do you know what's really interesting about improv? It's such a different kind of branch of comedy, isn't it? And I tried a Netflix TV series recently where they took a bunch of mainly improv comedians, but they had the woman that played Sabrina the Teenage Witch's mum in the original series.
Oh yeah.
They had Tom Green.
Oh my goodness.
They had John LeJoe.
Yeah.
And they also had the old guy that does all the improv on Whose Line Is It Anyway in America. I don't know. I can't remember his name, but
I've got his the old guy. Was it the host or was it Colin Mochrie?
Colin Mochrie, that's him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like that lineup, the premise is they have to try and make each other laugh, and everyone is not allowed to laugh. You would have thought it would be absolutely hysterical. It was so disappointing because everyone's trying too hard to make each other laugh, and it's just it doesn't work, and it's just
Colin Mochrie is one of my favorite improvisers. Like him and Robin Williams really like shaped my like improv career, and then like people like Mel Brooks. Like I'm a huge Mel Brooks fan. But I actually got to see Colin Mochrie perform here in Utah, and got to be an audience volunteer for one of the games. So for me, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so cool. And it was phenomenal. It was him and Brad Sherwood, who was another guest on the American version of Whose Line Is It Anyways. He would come in. He was one of the rotating people that would come in. But
that's amazing.
Yeah, improv's hard. I would argue that stand up is harder because my brain works really well with improv. I can think of stuff on the fly, but if you tell me to sit down and write a joke, I'm like, I can't do it. But if you tell me to like do something on the spot, then I'll be like, oh, okay, I can usually pull something out and do it that way. But yeah, improv's really cool. It's some people really like it, some people really hate it. It's kind of one of those things, and the show can either be really, really good or really, really bad, or sometimes in between, but it's either usually really good or really bad. But it's just when it works and it works well, it's nothing beats it. It's so magical.
I have a tough question for you, okay? So let's just say you had a guaranteed successful improv comedy career. So you could do it paid full time, you do it permanently, or get paid to tour full time with Holyname. What would you choose?
Oh man. At this point in my life, I would probably say Holyname because it's such a new experience for me. Maybe 5 years ago, I would have said improv, just because I was doing improv so much, and my whole life had become improv. But as of right now, I'm really liking doing stuff with Holyname. The few things we do here and there, it's kind of like easing me in, you know. But touring in general has just been a dream of mine, like my whole life. So I'd probably go with touring full time with Holyname. That would be cool. Just hanging out with friends and getting to go to different dive bars and stuff like that, and playing for whoever decides to show up, you know. So
I love how you're like just easing you in. Oh, yeah, by the way, you're playing Furnace Fest. Just easing you in.
Yeah. First live show for me is gonna be Furnace Fest. I'm so nervous.
just easing you in there. Just easing you in. Yeah.
Yeah, you get to play with Extol and Turnstile and becoming the archetype. No big deal.
Yeah.
And Hatebreed and Terror and
Yeah.
Just in
Yeah.
case you weren't already nervous, there you go. All right. Just
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. Just some of the biggest
you have
names
to
in
throw some of the
hardcore.
guys in there. Yeah, you just have to throw some other names in there. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm so excited for it. I think it's going to be a good time, and hopefully we don't disappoint. And it'd be cool if people showed up to our set, but there's probably other people playing at the same time, so we'll see what type of a draw we get. But I'm hoping for the best, you know. Either way, I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to have fun.
So I don't know if one of you guys want to ask Whiskey that, just so it's a bit more.
I think it's fine. It's fine that you asked it. To be honest, it's more natural.
You're fine, John. Just take over the whole thing. You're totally good. Do what you need to do.
We're inconsequential at this point. We're just background. We'll just sit here and look pretty for the YouTube video.
So, let's say you are playing with Holyname at Furnace Fest,
Okay.
and there's a band that you really want to see. Who would be like the worst band that is playing at Furnace Fest for you to be sharing a stage time with?
For me, it would be Showbread. I think they're playing Friday, so I don't have to worry about that. But if Showbread played at the same time, I'd have to really check myself, because I'd be wanting to go see Showbread because they're not a band, you know.
Yeah.
They were the whole reason why I came out to Furnace Fest the first year. But I think, oh man, that's a tough question. For the day that we're playing, I would say it would be really hard to go on at the same time as Turnstile.
Mhm.
Just because Turnstile puts on a heck of a show. They were really good. I saw them. They're headlining, so I don't think we're going to be playing at the same time. I don't know what time we're playing at, but Turnstile or Extol or Becoming the Archetype.
Yeah.
You know, because Extol's like first show in the U.S. in 18 years.
That's crazy.
And like growing up as a kid and discovering like black metal and stuff like that, Extol was one of the few ones that my mom would let me listen to, so I could get away with listening to Extol rather than like Mayhem and stuff like that. But yeah, probably like Extol or Becoming the Archetype, because I haven't seen either of those bands, and I really want to see those bands.
Mind you, just from hearing that, I can't blame your mum. Mayhem's story is nuts.
Yeah. I got into them before I heard the whole story about them, and I was just some like junior high kid just discovering music. I went from like Under Oath to Demon Hunter to Becoming the Archetype, and then I discovered black metal and was like, oh, the production's terrible, I love it.
Do you guys both know the story of Mayhem?
No.
Yeah, I do. I think there is actually someone made like a documentary film recently about it that I've heard is pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a documentary about it, and I think it's called The Light That Blinds. I could be wrong.
Yes, no, you are right. It's The Light That Blinds.
And then there's another movie that they actually made that's kind of cheesy called Lords of Chaos, and it's based off the book, and it talks about the whole story of Mayhem, and it's got Macaulay Culkin's younger brother Rory Culkin, who plays Euronymous in it. It's cheesy, but I like it. I showed my wife that movie, and she's like, "What are you into?" I'm like, "You married this. You married into this."
Yeah, you know your way out now.
Yeah, exactly.
But for those who don't know, and for Katrina, do one of you two want to fill us in?
Yeah, so the original lead singer killed himself, and then their guitarist like found his body and like took a picture of it and used it as one of their album covers. And then like the legend goes, whether or not it was true or not, is that he took pieces like bone fragment from his skull and made necklaces and would give them out to people he thought were worthy of it. So it's really dark music.
And it's said to have got worse. I think the guy then went out and stabbed the bass player like 32 times or something.
The bass player stabbed the guitarist.
That was it.
32 times. It was crazy. And he was also in another band called Burzum. which if you look at the black metal scene, especially that early 90s black metal scene, it's just a bunch of like Lord of the Rings nerds trying to be evil. That's all it is.
And mayhem succeeding.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Mayhem.
mayhem on a whole other level.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just
It's
trying to
more
figure out who could be the most evil.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a bit morbid.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
A bit
Absolutely
morbid.
crazy. So that's why I can like see why your mum wouldn't let you listen to that.
Yeah. I think she was doing her best to protect me. Granted, she didn't know all that, and I didn't know all that at the time, and she was just like, "This music sounds terrible," and I'm like, "You're not wrong. You're not wrong."
Yeah.
Wait till you learn the story.
Yeah.
What would be your dream set list in terms of bands you would love to tour with?
Oh man, I think. Oh, do they have to be active bands?
No.
Okay,
Just
the
your dream list.
The Chariot would be one. I'm a huge The Chariot fan. I miss The Chariot more than I miss most people.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, I just love The Chariot, John. No offense to you, but Mastodon would be fun. I'm a huge Mastodon fan. I listen to a lot of like doom and sludge and stoner music. So Mastodon would be cool. Typo Negative would be really awesome.
Oof, yeah.
Just Peter Steele and I are about the same height. I think he's 6'8" and I'm 6'9". And then just trying to talk to him about, hey, how do you actually play bass?
Because I have issues. It's always up to my neck. And I'm like...
Exactly. And he always had his like really down low. I actually have a Typo Negative pin on my vest right now.
Okay.
That I just got. Shout out to Etsy for hooking it up.
Sponsor me, yo.
Sponsor me, Etsy. I don't even know if Etsy does sponsorships.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I think Under Oath would be another one. I always wanted to tour with Under Oath. Linkin Park would have been cool. Oh man.
I think you're literally just putting together the best festival ever at the moment.
Yeah. Like imagine that as a tour. That would be so sick. Yeah. Off the top of my head, those are the big bands. I'd love to throw something like weird in there and throw like Coulter Wall. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
No.
I don't.
He's a country singer.
Brilliant.
But he's
course.
just
Yeah,
like,
it's a fork in the road.
yeah, so I listen to a lot of like acoustic, like Tyler Childers and Coulter Wall and stuff like that, just kind of like old sounding country music, and he's got this like really deep baritone. The White Buffalo I feel like could fit really well.
I saw that band a few years back now on a UK
They
tour.
are so good live.
Yeah.
I went with Tommy and Aaron and all our wives. We all went and saw the White Buffalo. He did most of the music for Sons of Anarchy. So kind of that like acousticy, like ballady type stuff. But he grew up like listening to like Black Sabbath and stuff like that. So he's got like long hair and he's like playing his acoustic guitar and headbanging and running around the stage. And they're really good. So I'd love to throw something like weird in there. I figured if Korn could do it with Family Values Tour, why can't we do it with other stuff, you know?
Exactly.
I know you had mentioned you were worried about how you're going to perform at, what was it, Furnace Fest, right?
Yeah, Furnace Fest.
I had recently watched your guys' live stream. You guys did amazing.
Thank you.
I mean, I know it's a different audience versus in person in your face, but and I know there's a complete difference, but you guys honestly killed that performance.
Thank you.
I loved it. And throughout the entire performance, it almost felt like a music video.
Yeah.
Like you weren't even watching a live performance. But I mean, I honestly don't sweat it. I mean, you guys are awesome. You guys performed really amazing. You guys executed it like to the T, amazing.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, all the production team was phenomenal to work with. All the guests were super cool, and it was just spending a day just hanging out with everyone. And shout out to Laz. He did such a good job. He's got his own company I think it's called Beyond Grave. And so he's doing production. So if there's any bands out there that need like live stream production or music video production or something like that, Laz is super easy to work with, and he's being our production guy, so he's running all our sound and stuff like that. So he'll be at Furnace Fest too.
Oh, brilliant.
Making sure that we all sound good and look good and everything like that. And
there you go.
So yeah, I really appreciate that. It was a fun project to work on, and it was so surreal just getting to play with all these people I grew up listening to and just chatting with them and stuff like that. So
okay, so I know like obviously like you're already friends with Brian Head, but
yeah.
who was it that really like was like, oh my goodness me, I'm next to this person in this room right now?
Ryan Clark.
Yeah.
Ryan Clark, because I was like, don't say anything that's gonna embarrass you. Demon Hunter was one of the first metal albums I bought, and he's like, oh man, that's rad. And I'm like putting on like eye makeup that I'm borrowing from Brian, like because we forgot to go to the store and stuff. I'm just like, this is so weird. I'm just like hanging out like with all these guys I grew up listening to, and I think Ryan was the first person that we did the guest vocal song with, because we started off with My Way. Yeah, we started off with My Way, and that's just us, and then we brought Ryan in. So for me, I was just like, okay, I'm performing with like professional musicians, you know, like not that Tommy and Joe and Rookie aren't professional musicians, but it was like these guys are my safe, like my safe area, because I've performed with them. We've practiced together. Like I know them. We have relationship with each other. Now we're bringing on this other guy, and we're just going to go through it and play it. And once I got past that, everything was awesome. But I think playing with Brian was a lot of fun, just because I've known him for a few years, and that was a cool experience to be able to have him like collaborate with us. And that was our last song that we did. And so by the time we were doing that, all my nerves were out. So it was just like an extension of like the band, or an extension of like my friend, you know. Just being there, and like we were all there. And I think the thing that helped me the most was like just understanding that like everyone's here to do their job, and they were really doing us a solid, and they're all so talented. Like Joe and Brookie Doom and all those guys Eric are just phenomenal vocalists. And so it's cool to like kind of stand in the back, and when I'm not headbanging, just like look around being like, dude, I'm doing this. Like this is pretty cool.
So okay, so what we've been doing, or what we will continue to do with our podcast, is we give you a few minutes, or what would be your like one thing that you want to share with people.
Oh man, go to therapy.
I love it. Honestly, I love it.
Go to therapy, man. Like I think there's mental health is like such a big thing for me. I struggle with a lot of mental health issues and stuff like that. And so for me, alongside like medication and stuff like that, therapy has been like a really good thing. And I wouldn't be in the place that I'm in without therapy. So I think the thing for me right now that's like really big is like, dude, like if you're having an issue, there's no shame in going to therapy. Like go to therapy, do what you needed to do, make yourself the best person you can be as yourself, and then everything kind of falls into line. Because the fruits of your mental health being in a good place just continue to go like tenfold, you know. So I would say that, slightly joking with that, but also like it's such an important thing. And then just like don't give up on like dreams. Like this has been a dream that I've had since junior high, and I never thought it would happen. And by the grace of God, I was able to be a part of this band and start doing stuff and playing Furnace Fest and things like that. So just keep on doing, like chasing those dreams and going after what you think is important. And even if you think other people don't care, like if you care about it, like forget what everybody else says. Like do what's making you happy, and like the stuff that brings you life and joy, like really press into that.
That's definitely great advice. I know I needed to hear that. So that was really good advice. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
And especially, dude, thank you so much for joining us. been great chatting to you. It's been good catching up. And just, yeah, dude, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. So it's my first podcast interview. So you guys got the exclusive rights to Chayton Whiskey. So
Yay! We got that. Now we have that on record as well. So
yeah, it's on record. It's on record.
Screw your wife. We've got the official rights, you know.
Yeah. I'll text her right now and let her know. I'm like, hey,
we're gonna pattern it. We're gonna make T-shirts. We're gonna, it's gonna
Except for John, maybe. He's kind of to the wayside. I think he's taken up a lot of the attention so far. So maybe excluding John for a little bit.
That's probably wise, to be fair.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for guesting on our podcast.
Do you want me to hang out? What do you want me to do?
My name is John.
My name is Jim.
My name is Katrina.